Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Gary here. It's it's the middle of the week. You can see I took down the Bengal sign. I promised I would do it. If they lost another game, I said I'm taking it down. I'm one of those types. I'm a fair weather fan. I'm all in. I'm all in when you're doing good. But if you start fucking up like they are, I mean, the Cincinnati Bengals are like a roller coaster. You know. Good years, bad years. Good years and bad years. And I could be a diehard fan or I could be a bandwagon fan, jumping up and down off the bandwagon. They're not consistent like some teams out there. Anyway, that's not where I wanted to go today, my subject. My subject today is called body count. I want to touch on a few things with that. Back when I was in high school, I graduated in 1979. So all the way through the 70s, when I was in high school, and even in the mid to late 80s, if a guy got around and banged a lot of girls, he was called a dog. And if a gal got around and banged a lot of dudes, she was called a slut. And that was just the name they had. It was a name they were used. They were called sluts or whores, and guys were dogs and pigs. But today's standard, women have put a new spin on it. They're calling it body count. Oh, but I just want to get my body count up a little bit. It's not a big deal, really. I mean, what's the big deal when it's get my body count up? You can't call them sluts anymore. They don't want to be labeled. They don't want to be labeled sluts anymore. Although we all know that's what they are. Filthy, dirty ones too. But it's the ones that are in their 20s and 30s, and I only know this because when I was still working, a lot of the younger guys that I worked with told me that was the term. I kept up with the current events when I was still working, because a lot of the young cats that I worked with, they were giving me all the details of the ins and outs of dating. And they call it body count. Hey, Gary, they call it body count. I'm like, really? Yeah. They're just out there, sleeping with as many guys as they can to get their body count up. I was like, wow. Bunch of whores, right? He goes, no, body count. Body count. So they figure that's a nice way of saying they're a slut. And so that was going on and still going on with the girls, the ladies in their 20s and 30s and even their early 40s. But I'm seeing ladies that I know, I can count on one hand with a few to spare, women that I know personally. They aren't even friends. They're just people I know in my community and outside of my community that are in their early to mid 50s, clear up to early 60s, that are spreading their legs for as much dick as they can get. Yeah, I can't believe it. You figure that those, at that age, because I'm 65, but at that age, in their early 50s, mid 50s, late 50s, right? Well, let's just call in their 50s and early 60s, spreading them and getting down on their knees and sucking them as many as they can. And I thought they would know better than that, to be promiscuous like that at that age. You figure they'd grow up a little bit at that age and get with the program and maybe downshift a little bit. Because I dated a lot in my 20s, 30s, and 40s. My dating pool has thinned out tremendously since I've gotten older. And it's not because I'm not interested. It's called choice. I have found that my peace and quiet have taken the front seat over getting out there and knocking them out, knocking the back out of them, knocking the bottom out, partying. Of course, I gave up drinking alcohol, so that's a huge one right there. But I don't chase pussy like I used to. You can talk to any of the guys that used to work with me. They say, God, that guy Gary chases pussy. Oh, yeah, man. I had it. What do they call it? The Riz? Whatever you name it. I don't know. I was chasing it constantly. I just down shit when I got older. Excuse me. That said, I don't understand it. The women that are chasing all that dick. And I think, no, I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty sure it's women that got married young. What do you call it? A couple factors. The ones that got married, straight out of college or even straight out of high school, they married their high school sweetheart, or they went to Husband Inc. As a degree in college, to find one in college, and I know a few that did that. And then they got married straight out of college, raised a family. Maybe in college they were with one or two guys. They lost their virginity maybe in high school, and then they've only been with a couple, three guys, maybe just one guy, and then they got married and had squeezed out 2 or 3 kids, and then maybe married 15, 20, 25 years and said, their hormones are kicking in, menopause starts to take over, and they say, fuck it, I'm getting divorced. I don't need him anymore. I could do it on my own. And that's what's going on. That's what's going on in America. It has been. That train's rolling down the line, man. It's been going on a lot. Because back when I was a kid, there was no such thing as divorce. You never heard of anyone getting divorced when I was a kid. No one got divorced. They stayed together forever. Thick or thin. Sickness or health, man. But nowadays, it's so easy to get divorced. It's fucking expensive, what I heard. Thank God I never went down that road. Thank God I never got married, man. Fuck that marriage shit. Anyway, it's a different story completely. So that's what's happening. The women that are out there getting as much dick as they can get are the ones straight out of a divorce that have no clue about dating in the 21st century. That there's as many pigs out there as there are women getting body count. Can you imagine the STDs flying through the ceiling? Can you imagine there's all kinds of crustaceans growing down those crotch areas of men and women? Crusty, pus-driven shit just dripping off of that shit. They go to their gynecologist or their dermatologist. I used to play golf with this guy. He's a dermatologist. We played golf we were drinking buddies and golf buddies for a good part of 15 years. I still talk to him every now and then. He practices locally here. And some of the stories he's told me about crotch rot on women and men. Oh, but I just had this little rash going on down there, and I don't understand it. It just, and he'll say, well, what have you done differently? You playing any sports or pickleball or tennis, or you running because it looks like some chafing down there between your legs? Oh, I don't know what it is really. I mean, I did go on a girls' weekend a couple weeks ago in Vegas with my girlfriends, and we partied our asses off. Maybe it's dietary because I didn't eat very well. They try to make excuses. And my buddy who's a dermatologist would say, oh, well, they would try to make excuses like, well, maybe I drank too much alcohol, or maybe it was diet related, like this one in Vegas. Maybe it was diet related, or just hormonal changes. And what he wants to say is, no, you got some infected dick down there, didn't you? You didn't use a condom. Oh, and by the way, what are those sores in your mouth and around your lips? What are those pussy things? What's going on with that? Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's diet related. No, maybe you sucked on some nasty, skanky dick. That's what it was. And these are women. And he tells me this. I talked to, I'm not going to say his name. Can't do that because he's married. His wife would shoot him. He's telling stories about clients and patients. But he told me, he goes, Gary, they're always trying to pass it off as a dietary. Well, maybe it's a dietary thing. He goes, mostly more women than men. He sees more women than men with these issues because they're too embarrassed to go to the OBGYN with this issue. They figure they'll just sidestep and go to a dermatologist and get some kind of a cream or some kind of an ointment or some kind of prescription drug. I mean, can you imagine? So the stories I hear from him about the crotch rot going on out there in the 21st century. And these are women that I gotta get my body count up. I just need to. I just feel like I've missed out. I missed out. I just missed out. All those years I was married, I'm gonna get me some dick. I'm going out with my girlfriends. We're gonna have a girls' weekend in Vegas. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna suck it and fuck it all day long. I owe myself that. And that's what's going on. And like I said, I know I can count on my one hand 5. I know for certain there's 5 in and around my community and people I met and when I used to live over in Oakley that I know that are in that age range that are just out there banging it up. One's not good enough. They got to have 2 or 3, 4 or 5. Group sex, whatever, man. And the biggest shame on all this is how many hearts you breaking along the way. And guys are as guilty as women here. I'm not going to just pick on the women because I'm a dude. How many hearts are you breaking along the way, guys? How many hearts you breaking along the way, ladies? You know, you figure when you hit your 50s, you've learned enough in life that it's important to what? Get to know someone first. Really get to know someone. You know? Go on a few dates. Go on 5 or 6 dates. Get to know them. What's their favorite color? What's their birthday? You know? Just small stuff. Learn. I like to get to know someone. I really like to get to know someone. You could talk to 3 or 4 of the gals I've gone out with the past 5 years. They'll tell you, oh yeah, Gary never made a move on me. Gary never made a move on me, not once. No, he just wanted to get to know me. You know? I'll move on him when I feel like I'm ready. But at that point, I did plenty of whoring around in my 20s, 30s, and 40s. Trust me, I had plenty of it. I made up for guys that never got it. I did plenty of that whoring around. I did it. I was a stud. Like a lot of guys my age. But now I don't care. I don't give a shit. I got this. I could just whack off. I could just tear one off if I had the nerve, or not the nerve, but the urge. But that's not this. I mean, the way I look at relationships anymore is sex is a compliment, not a requirement. Whereas in your 20s and 30s and 40s, you just want to knock the bottom out of something. But I might want to sidetrack on that. I want to go back to my point I was making about these women, mostly women I'm seeing it in. Women that I know. And some women that I know of that are out there they're going bar hopping. Oh, go to dance clubs, go to mixers, go to these dating sites. Oh, yeah, I got to get some more dick. I got to get some more dick. And they're doing it all day long, every weekend. I can't keep up with that shit. You know what I do for fun anymore? Not that. Not that. Hell no. I just don't get it. And actually, I know a gal that I've known this gal for a better part of 15, 16 years, and she just turned 71 years old. And she's still out there pounding the pavement. She's still out there looking for dick. She'll tell me these stories. Yeah, Gary, I just got to have it. I just got to have it. And she's always been oversexed. Molly's been, and she lives in Cleveland, so I figure I could say her name, but Molly, she's a freak show, man. She just can't get enough. She's been married 4 times, looking for ex-husband number 5 from what she tells me. But yeah, I don't get it. Body count, they call it. And like I said, the women in their 50s that are out there pounding the pavement. Going to bars, going to dance clubs, whatever, any guy to give them attention. And then they go home and they suck them off, and then they spread their legs and they get the high, hard one, and then they go home satisfied for now until they gotta find some more later. What the hell's with this sun? Almighty. It rained all morning and now it's sunny out. I don't get Cincinnati weather. I don't. But anyway, sorry about that glare. I ain't real creeped up on me like that. But it's the bottom line of the Heartbreak Central, you know? You're toying with a guy's emotions. You get a guy like me who just wants to get to know you. Wants to have a few dates with you, take you to lunch, take you to dinner. Do some fun stuff. I'm not out to be toyed with, so I just prefer to stay single. Till the right one comes along, and if she doesn't, guess what? No one's going to touch my remote and my TV. No one's going to fuck with my stuff. Anyway, this video was short today, but I figured I'd throw it out there with all these women out there, you know, just getting as much dick as they can get. I'm seeing it left and right. Anyway, hope you all have a great weekend. I'm not going to watch the Bengals anymore because I think they suck. Maybe I'll take up a different sport. Who knows? Anyway, you all have a great weekend. Take care of yourselves. Peace out.